Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. And here we are with the Tamp It Up podcast. I guess that's a working title, but that may be it. I'm here. I'm Fela, your host, Fela, and I'm here with my co-host, Frank Green.
Hey, how are you all?
Let's go.
All
Frank, this is a new podcast.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah.
And we're talking all things success and how to get those steps to success. Like, okay, I'm an audio engineer by trade, and you're a musician, trumpet player by trade.
Trumpet owner.
And trumpet owner and player. But what's that in between? You know, you learn all the things about audio, you learn all the things about trumpet, but that's not it. And this is what this show is about. So Frank, let's get into it. Like, what was the first things we want to get into with this one?
Well, I know you and I were talking about this just a little bit ago, and we've been talking about this kind of for a little while.
Yeah.
The idea of, what makes me want to talk about things and have a podcast. I think what I was saying to you before, I still believe is that one of the frustrating things for me is when a young person comes up to me and they say, I'm in college and I don't know what to do. Or the worst one is, like I said to you, is when they come to me and they go, I'm in New York and I'm not working. I've got my college degree. As a matter of fact, I've got a master's degree and it's in jazz performance. How come I'm not jazz performing? And I have to think, well, and speaking with them, I realize it's basically the same thing over and over again. But I've seen so many students, and whenever I do a talk in university, the students will say the same thing. How come nobody's teaching us this? And so my thought was, well, if people are coming to me and asking why I'm not working, then I go to a school and do a talk, and people are saying, how come no one's teaching this? I thought maybe I should start working with you and we can start teaching some of this, so that more people can get it than just the handful of people that might come up to me on a given day or week, So that's kind of the impetus of why I wanted to start talking about this now on the podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm on the same boat with you. It's funny when I'll go to schools as well with audio and asking, how do you get on? How do you get that foot in the door? And it was very, it was an interesting route for me. It was, I think, nobody has the same route.
No.
Of getting to where you want to get to in your career. And I'm no exception. And I'm also kind of amazed myself, but in certain ways. But doing things that are off the beaten path, like doing this podcast, and for me, It was sharing content online a decade ago, that put me in a situation to where I'm at now. And, that took me to another level with my career and now owning my own business.
Right.
And that all culminated from taking steps, actionable steps, like we're going to talk about throughout this podcast, to make things happen.
For sure.
And you and Frank, you have, you've written a few books, and it's a few steps that we're going to be using out of these books, to use as the how-to.
I like we're starting with this one, though. I like that we're starting.
Yeah, and which the book that we're starting out with is, I Knew That, 116 Thoughts That You Already Know That Will Change Your Life.
Yeah, well, hopefully, that's why I put them in there. I just basically started writing until I was done. Then I counted them, and I realized that's how many it was. I didn't set out to write a certain number.
Oh, okay.
And there's some crossover, obviously, because sometimes you have to say things in different ways for them to register with us, right? It's like, okay, I register with that way of saying it more than this way. So it might be a little of that in the book as well. But, the attempt is to try to be helpful.
Yeah.
I think that, because, some people have asked me if I would do this over the years, and I never really wanted to because people say, you ever thought about teaching at a college or teaching this content at a college full time? And I was thinking, if I go to a school and I teach this, then I'm kind of under the umbrella of whatever the management wants me to teach. And that's kind of not effective for what I want to teach, because I might say something that they don't like, And they'll keep me from saying it, which defeats the purpose of having this podcast in the first place. So that's why I thought it might be our teaching in the first place, which I think having a podcast for me is more freeing. I can just say what I'm thinking about and what I've seen that works.
Yeah.
And there's no combative nature to the idea of it, which is why I like doing this better. But for me, I'm a trumpet player. I've been playing the trumpet for 40 years, for a living, and I never did anything else. So the idea of teaching, even in this format, is still a bit strange for me. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's a new thing. So I wanted to make sure I was with you because I trust you, and I know that we can work on things together. So for me, it's exciting. I haven't had any lunch yet, so that's why I sound a little bit funny, but a little low blood sugar. But I think I'm really excited to do these and offer some help to people. And if they have any things that they want to know about, any things they want to get any further study about, then they can reach us. They can email us. They can they can contact us through social media, and we want to get to that, and that's tell us what's ailing you basically, and we want to get to that. So
exactly.
That's kind of where I'm thinking.
I'm sure there's going to be a chapter out of this 116 that's probably going to
hopefully that
we can hit right to it. Here you go.
Yeah, I doggered a couple, so hopefully hopefully they'll help right off the bat.
Yeah. Should I even go into the book now, or would we?
Yeah, just as long as I think everyone remembers that for me, the main reason that I want to be on this podcast doing this is because so many people over the years, I hate to say it, a lot of my friends were teachers, my friends are teachers that taught, and a lot of them don't like what they're doing. And so my whole thing is, if you understood a few fundamentals, which I've come to realize over the years, there's a few fundamentals, and when you understand them and apply them, then people that I've worked with have all gotten what they wanted. It sounds crazy to say, but they all have got, because I just use the same fundamentals with them. Now how to apply them is different because every person's different, but it's still the same basic fundamentals. And so it breaks my heart when people are out there. Not one person I worked with is an usher, 37 years old. And he said, I hate this job. And I started talking to him. I said, well, you're a good guy, but your thoughts about things are not quite right. And so now this guy's playing trumpet over in Aladdin. So it's, I think he's on a hit show. Before he couldn't get a show, nobody would ask him. So now he applied a few of these principles, and now he's basically making a living playing the trumpet and not saying, oh, your seat's 32J. That's a job you're supposed to do when you're 11, not when you're 37. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but let's just be honest. I think a job where you tell people where their seat is a job that you're supposed to do when you're a teenager and you're still trying to, get your stuff together.
Yeah.
And so my main criteria is to try to be helpful, and as far as if people wind up doing things they don't want to do, and that's how the only way to make a living, then it's like if I can be helpful to make that not be the case, then I want to do that. So if musicians are saying to me, I'm not doing what I want to do, then I want to try to be helpful so that they can do what they want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my main goal.
Yeah. As of now, let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, wow. And with you saying that, we will put into the summary an email address. Hopefully we'll be getting a phone number as well to at least like leave a voicemail at. So we can also put it into the actual episodes. That's the goal for future episodes.
Almost real-time help. I like that.
So we can really real-time help. And maybe even get the person on the phone if we can work out schedules and whatnot. But if not, we'll still put it together and give our honest opinions on whatever, on however we can help the situation in those.
Right. Because I'll never tell, if my wife can attest to this, I'll never tell anyone what to do.
Yeah.
I'll just say, hey, have you ever thought about this? Or have you ever thought about adding this to what you already do? Don't have to change what you're doing. Just add a few things to what you're doing. And you'll find that those things you're adding work in conjunction with the things you're already doing. And when it starts to click, you start to believe it. But I know at first, you're not seeing it. You don't see it that way. You've learned a different way. But if it's not working, if you're an usher and you're 37, what you're doing is clearly not working. So maybe try some different thoughts. Basically, it's really just thoughts, because our thoughts become our actions, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so once the thoughts come in and you understand this other thought that maybe you never heard before, all of a sudden a whole bunch of stuff starts to make sense. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I want to try to share and help with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the goal.
And I'm your sidekick on that.
Hey, I'm your sidekick. You kidding me?
We're each other's sidekicks on how we did it, in our perspective niches, and that this is transferable to a lot of stuff as well as being a musician. So I'm excited about that. Not just talking about the technical part of what
Right.
I do, but more so
Right.
of the mindset and the change that I had to see happen, a decade plus ago now,
Right.
to get further ahead and now, own my own business and, be able to grow in that way.
Yeah, because you and I have been talking about some of this stuff for a while. I mean,
Holy cow.
across from each other in the airplane over the years. We started talking about this stuff on a Delta flight, I think, maybe
Exactly.
100 years ago. So it's nice to be able to do this.
Yes, exactly. Holy cow, on like a cross country flight.
Seriously, it
To
was,
LA,
yeah.
and we really just started talking about that mindset, and it's been a conversation that we've been having for damn near a
while.
decade for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, so if we're really speedy over here getting around to things, but I think
Yeah.
mostly because I know for my part, I just enjoy. I don't really see this as a business. To me, it's more that it's like I play the trumpet for a living, and I'm still playing the trumpet for a living. So I don't really see this as something I have to do because I can still play the trumpet for a living, and I'm thankful for that. But it just feels like so many people have asked, and I've been to so many universities. I did a talk at the National Trumpet Competition a few years ago, and my friend said, I heard it went pretty well. I said, well, I don't know what that means. I've never done a lecture at the trumpet competition. He goes, well, the average attendance is somewhere between 25 to 30 students that come in, or people come in to hear a talk. Because you had 300 people come in. I went, 300? He goes, yeah, because I could see people texting each other while I was talking, and as people started coming in the door, more people were texting. So it started to make me realize I'm saying something they'd never heard before, and they wanted other people to hear that too. And so it was very encouraging, which made me think maybe we should do this now. Especially with everything else going on in the world. Wouldn't it be nice if you get to do what you want to do and make money doing it the way that you want to do it? So anyway, so that's why I'm here now, sitting in this chair talking about this stuff.
All right.
Versus playing a gig and then going for the closest hoagie place down the street.
Or
a good
just
slice of
talking-
pizza.
Yeah, just talking about this at the pizza joint. Just
Yeah.
like, what we should do. We're doing it now.
Yeah, I'm
so
happy.
this is the great thing, and I'm looking forward to many, 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 many more episodes. And I think that's great, just to give you guys a palate cleanser, and just know what we're doing and where we're starting from, and you'll be getting more episodes from us soon. Anything else you want to say, Frank, on this one?
They should know that we're waiting on pizza right now as we're talking. We're waiting for pizza delivery.
So
Never stops.
you're gonna hear some more canned episodes. We're gonna put in the can to get this started. But this was just a teaser to let you guys know where we're coming from and what you're about to hear with this podcast. Tamp it up.
Tamp it up.
And let's go.
We should explain what that means at some point.
Yes, we will.
Yeah,
At some
okay.
point, we'll get into that.
There's definitely a meaning behind that.
So, tamp it up from here from the One of One Production Studios in Fort Lee, New Jersey, with Frank and myself. Let's go.
Let's go.